Don't eat meats. Don't eat meats at all. Meats are terrible for you. They're gonna hurt your heart. You're gonna get cancer because of it. You're gonna die because red meats are awful for you. If you eat red meats, then you are set for failure. You're gonna die. Again, who is saying these things? Who is saying these things? Who is saying that red meat is bad? I can tell you, majority of the time, the people who say red meats are bad are the same people who end up fucking dying from these like diseases. I used to believe like the people around me, like their advice about lifting weights. When I first ever wanted to start getting in shape, right? I remember how I was asking the people around me, for advice, because, that you want to ask like your circle, like, you want to ask your circle, like, what should I do? And for a while, I seriously believed like what my family, what my friends said, and for like months and almost even to a year, I barely made any progress at all. Like over 2022, like let's say I began like the beginning of 2022, and I really didn't start seeing a whole lot of progress until later on in like October, like September, October is when I actually like saw like serious progress. Let me tell you that, okay, like I said before, you got to look at the people you're listening to. If you could trade places with them and the way they look, would you? Would you like, honestly, like, tell me this, like, look at your doctor. The doctor who tells you like, oh, eggs is bad for you. The doctors tell you that red meats is bad for you. Would you want to look like them? For the longest time, I thought that red meats were terrible for you. So for a while, I didn't eat any red meats. I didn't eat any beef at all. No beef at all. Because I was scared. I was like, well, I mean, it can't be bad. Like, it must be like one of those things that's really bad for you because everyone's always saying it. Dude, people are brainwashed. They are brainwashed. You and we're not trying to be like them. We didn't start this journey because we want to be like them. We're starting this journey because we want to see what we're capable of. You want to see what your body is capable of. You want to see what's capable, instead of looking at it as like, oh, you have bad genetics, you have good genetics. You want to see what your genetics is capable of, instead of just blatantly believing that, oh, my genetics are bad, I can't do anything about it. Brother, you have to stop listening to these people. Stop listening to these people who you wouldn't want to trade places with. They're the same people who have all these health conditions and all these health problems, and they're telling you, oh, don't eat that. Shit, it's not working for them. Why do you care what they say? I'm not telling you to ignore them. I'm telling you to really consider and think to yourself, should I be listening to what they say? Meats are good for you. Obviously, certain meats are better than other meats, obviously. But I'm trying to tell you that eating beef, like, is something that is actually going to, like, change your aura, because you're actually eating more like your actual, like, ancestors. Close your eyes with me. Let's think. Let's imagine we're in the Ice Age time. Your ancestors are fasted. They don't have any carbs on them right now. They don't have any energy. They don't have any sort of food in them. And they're going out to go hunt. And they go hunt, what do you think? A mammoth. And they go out, they kill it, and then they feast. They feast, they eat everything. Everything. The organs, the muscle, everything. And all of these things that are inside the meat is fuel. All of them. Think about it. All of the legs, the arms, the organs, all of them is fuel for these people. You can open your eyes now. You see what I'm trying to get at? Is that a lot of the times these people will make meat out to be like this bad thing. Dude, let's think about it. What are the main problems with our modern day, like, what are the main reasons why people die? Heart disease, they die of obesity, they die of cancer. What are all three of these things? Let's think about it. Let's really think about it. Let's go back in time and let's think, was my ancestor dying from heart disease or obesity or cancer? No. They were probably dying because they got crushed by an animal, or they died because of a disease, They weren't dying because of these things that we have now. You see where I'm getting at? Brother, you have to understand, like, us humans were made in a specific way. You read the book Sapiens, he talks about it. How originally, like the author speaks about how originally we were hunter-gatherers. We ate meat. We ate fruits, berries. And it wasn't until we started harvesting a lot of crops. And I'm not saying crops are bad for you. I'm not saying vegetables are bad. I'm saying whenever we began putting all our trust in these crops, that's whenever we started to build a lot of these health problems that we have. If you're watching this, you don't want to have like all of these health problems. You want to be in good health. You want to be in good health because you have a dream of being able to actually interact with your kids and actually be physically there. You want to be able to actually go outside and play with them without thinking, my blood pressure or my knee. And like, a lot of people will just assume that the older you get, that's just like the less capable you are. I'm tired of people making these excuses that the older you get, like, you can just do less. You ever notice how whenever people get older is also the time whenever they stop eating as well as they did before, and then all of a sudden they also stop working out and they stop really taking care of themselves, and then all of a sudden they get into these really bad health conditions, and they're like, it's because I'm older. Of course, when you get older, you're gonna be more susceptible of getting these things. But a lot of it comes down to your diet. That hamburger that you ate. You really telling me that is actually gonna help you out? Let's think about it. This goes back into my whole saying of food is fuel, not pleasure. Stop viewing food as this thing that, you only eat the food that you want to eat. There's going to be a lot of foods you eat that you didn't like. I ate a pound of ground beef earlier. Dude, honestly, it didn't taste amazing, but I don't see food as something that I have to always enjoy. It's something that I fuel for my workouts. I fuel for energy for my mind so I can work. Start building this relationship with food. Start eating meat. Meat is going to give you that fuel that you need. You're going to have the energy like your ancestors did. Imagine being able to go out there and go crush something. Have the energy for that. That is what food is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a Big Mac that you go eat and it tastes like really good and stuff, and then you wonder why you feel so sloppy and so tired. People don't understand what you and I are trying to do. They're going to blatantly tell you the advice that they heard from other people who are in the same predicament that they are in. You want to know how to get you want to know how to get different results? You want to know how to get different results than the ones you have now? You have to implement the things that you've never done. Imagine not having the energy. Like really think about it. Imagine you're getting older and you have kids and you don't have energy to go out and go play with them. You don't have energy to go to the gym. You care about that, don't you? You wouldn't be watching this if you didn't care. Again, we have to see food in a different way than the way that we're seeing it before. Food is not something that you're always going to enjoy. And like people, you look up these nutritionists who say, food, you should enjoy food at times and stuff, and you should like have every so often you should eat like a lot of sugar and stuff. Dude, shut up. Stop. Learn to enjoy the food that's actually good for you instead of trying to always figure out a way to include that food that was been keeping you fat. I remember how I always used to try and include one of my favorite foods that I always used to eat was goldfish. They're these little cheese crackers. I used to always try to figure out a way to fit it in my diet, try and fit it in my macros. It wasn't until I got rid of it that my progress started to skyrocket. Another thing is carbs. Stop viewing carbs as like this magical thing. Dude, frankly, you want to get as few carbs as you possibly can. There's a reason why these keto diets are working so well. See, people have this misconception that we absolutely need to have like a bunch of carbs. Obviously, carbs are important. Don't get me wrong. But you should not be getting, because ultimately, the more carbs you're going to get, the more likely you're going to have a lot of sugar, because sugar is a carb. So stop trying to get like all these carbs. Carbs are important, of course. And I used to, this used to be me. I used to seriously think that you had to have like 200, 300 grams of carbs a day. Dude, want to know the times that I had like the most amount of energy? It was whenever I simply just stopped eating so much carbs. Today, for instance, I ate 6 eggs, I ate a can of tuna, and then I ate some ground beef. And the only carbs I got was from eating blueberries and then drinking raw milk. That's the only carbs I got in my day. Brother, you can't have energy. Like carbs, too much of these carbs is going to clog your brain, and you're not going to be able to think properly. You're not going to be able to work properly because you're going to feel tired. Those midday slumps come from all the carbs you eat. Don't listen to these people telling you have to have these carbs at this time of the day. Let's think about it. Let's say you ate a bowl of cereal in the morning. Later in the day, how do you feel? You don't feel good, do you? You got to cut these carbs out. Start eating more meat. Eat more like your ancestors. Eat eggs, eat meat, eat fish. This is what they thrived on. Notice how I didn't say just what they eat. This is what they thrived on. This is how they had energy to go do the things they did. Start eating more meat, and I promise you that you're going to see more progress. That's all I have for you, boys. But if you want a more like in-depth look for me to actually help you out a little more in terms of your diet and your fitness, you can look in the description. I have a one-on-one call, and we could try to work each other out. That's all I have for you, boys.